Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be working on this new to me Massey Ferguson tractor. So I had gotten this tractor to replace my old tractor, which you might have seen on some earlier videos on my channel. I had found my previous tractor just sitting in the field. It was completely locked up. I got it running, driving, and it served me really well in the shop here. But I found this one on Facebook, and I'd kind of been maybe wanting a new tractor to upgrade from the one I had before. Something that was a little bit bigger and could just do a little bit more around the shop and what I do here than my previous tractor could. So what I ended up coming across was this Massey Ferguson 65 tractor. They were manufactured between 1957 and 1964. So it's the similar era to the tractor I had before, which was a Massey Ferguson 35 tractor. So this is, I believe, 2 model numbers up from that tractor. It's a heavier model. It has some things that the other tractor doesn't have. For example, this has power steering. This is a diesel tractor as well. It also has diff lock in the back. So overall, this is going to be just in general a little better tractor for me for moving things around the shop here, and also doing some brush hogging and maybe trying to get into a little bit more of that land clearing stuff when the summer comes around. So to get this tractor where it needs to be to work best for me, I need to do a few modifications to it, just improve some things on it from before. I want to change out some of the tires. It has this loader frame on it. I want to get rid of that. It serves no benefit to me. And just fix a few more odds and ends around the tractor to make it really good for what I'm going to do here. So like I mentioned, I want to remove this loader frame because it just gets in the way for me, and I have no use to actually use this tractor with a loader. So the first thing you need to do is remove this front crossbar, and then that will allow me to basically have 2 pieces going down the side, which I can then take off. Now that the front section is off, there are 3 bolts holding the front of the loader frame to the engine block itself, which I will take off. there she is off. And let me tell you, that thing is heavy. That's gonna be a lot of weight off this tractor. So one thing I don't need with what I do around here in this tractor is a lot of weight, a lot of ballast. It just doesn't benefit me. I'm not towing really heavy things where I would need that ballast. I don't need the loader, so you don't need the ballast on the back for that either. So that's gonna save a lot of weight and make it a lot easier to move this tractor around. And it's also gonna make it much easier to get on top of the tractor, because before you had to climb up on top of the loader bracket, where now I can just climb right on. So that saves a lot. And also I think this bracket was a little bit broken as well. It looks like, oh yeah, that was not being held on by very much. So it looks like maybe it had broken once before and attempted to have been welded back together, but it's not in good shape now. So I was going to try to sell this. I still may. With that broken bracket, I don't know if I'll really get much for it. Honestly, this could just end up going into the scrap pile. But we'll see. I hate to just throw something away that maybe someone could use. So got this side off. Now it's time to do the other side. So now that I have the loader frame assembly off, the next thing I want to tackle are the rear wheels and tires, because I hate these rear wheels and tires. Hate them. Can't stand them. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, they're dry rotted. They are way dry rotted. You know, you got stuff, cords coming off of them. So first problem is they're dry rotted. They probably won't last very long. They hold air still, but you know, who knows how long that's going to last. I could take them apart, make sure they have tubes in them, and that would get a little bit more life out of them, but they're still dry rot. Second thing I hate about them is that they are very wide. They are, I think, a 16 point something tire, and the tires I'm going to be putting on it are a 13.6, I believe. So the new tires I'm putting on have a shorter tread width, which is something that I want, because in my shop I do a lot of tight maneuvering. I don't want a big wide track width on my tractor. So, and then the third thing I hate about them, third thing, is that they are a fixed steel wheel. So I have no option to unbolt them, change the back spacing or anything like that. What I have is what I'm stuck with, and that is because it used to have that loader frame. So you had to have a certain back spacing, you couldn't run narrower. I'm guessing that's why they put these wheels and tires on it. So it has a lot less back spacing than I need. I'd like to run something like my old tractor, where it's pretty flush, the outside of the axle is pretty flush. And then the fourth thing I hate about them is they're yellow. The tractor is red and gray, yellow. Why someone put yellow wheels on a red and gray tractor is beyond me, but they are ugly. So I looked into all sorts of ways to get new wheels. I couldn't find any new wheel assemblies. These types of tractors often came with what's called a power rim. So the rim spins in and out when you release it to get different track widths, and it's an easy way to get different track widths for your tractor. They were expensive, so I was kind of priced out of them. I tried pricing up just a separate dish and ring assembly like on my other tractor, but they made you buy the dish separate, the ring separate, the hardware separate. Everything was separate on it. I couldn't find an entire assembly, and then I still had to buy tires for it. So I actually got really lucky. I was on Facebook, and I happened to come across a new set of wheels and tires all assembled. So let me show you those. So these are my new sets of wheels and tires for this tractor. These are a 13.6 by 28. Like I said, my other ones I think are like a 16 something by 28. These have the separate dish on them. So these are not a one-piece wheel. These are a two-piece wheel. And what that allows me to do is, what I'm gonna have to do is take this dish out, flip it, put it back on, so that way my tires are as narrow as I can get it, which is what I want for my setup right now. I don't need a wide track width. So I got them for a really good price too. I was absolutely blown away. It was far cheaper than anything I could have gotten online. So that's just something to remember. Make sure you check your Facebook, your local Facebook, because you never know what you might be able to find, or Craigslist or whatever you have in your area. You never know what kind of stuff you're going to be able to find that's someone that might have what you need. Oh, one thing I did forget. I did try to use my existing wheels and tires off of this tractor and put them on my new tractor. But because my old tractor, the 35, is a little smaller of a tractor, the rear axle is smaller. So the center hole, this hole right here, is a different diameter. So I couldn't do that. I did think about that, but it wouldn't have worked. So now that I have my wheel and tire set up, like I said, what I mentioned before is I need to take this dish, flip it around so I have the most back spacing that I can, and that this wheel combo will be as tight as I can get it to the tractor. All right, one side is done at least. A couple things I learned from that. One, that tire is ballasted and very, very heavy. Ballasted means it's got water in it for extra weight. Two, it caused a whole big issue because as soon as I took that wheel and tire off, the whole thing went that way and it was way too high, which I kind of knew would happen. Three, tractor tires just in general are heavy and a pain to be putting on anything, and it's not fun. So I'm going to save you guys the trouble of watching me do it for the second side, and I'm just going to make it happen. So when we come back, we'll be doing something a little more fun, I hope. All right, so I've got the tires mounted, and let me tell you, that was a huge pain, but finally got it done, especially the right-hand side. That was really difficult because actually I had two left-hand tires instead of left and a right. Anyway, got that all figured out. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to move on to upgrading the exhaust. So currently, this tractor just has a down bit of exhaust going out the back, which I've seen is pretty common, but doesn't really work well for what I do. I'm going to be using this tractor mostly for towing some stuff. So the problem is that when I'm back there trying to hook something up, I've got all those exhaust fumes blowing in my face. So I'm going to be upgrading this down pipe with that vertical pipe over there. So in my opinion, the vertical pipes just look better as well. So it's going to make the overall look of the tractor better in my opinion. So All right, so I got my exhaust on. I do need to get a clamp for the bottom. I will pick that up later. I don't have one on hand right now, but it looks a lot better than it did, and it's going to function much better than the old exhaust did for what I'm going to be using this tractor for. Now I need to do something with the seats. So I want to switch the seats I have for my other tractor and this tractor. This seat really isn't that comfortable. It's supposed to be a suspension seat. It's all seized up, it doesn't work anymore. So I want to replace it out for a seat that I find more comfortable. Some people may say, oh, well, this is an upgraded seat from the one I'm going to be putting on. That's their opinion. I find this other seat more comfortable, so we're going to get it switched out. Well, there you have it. I've got my tractor mostly put together now. I'm not entirely sold on the seat, to be honest. I definitely don't want the old seat on it, but I don't know if this new old seat is quite appropriate. It's a little too far forward. It's just a hair too low. I don't want to be up too high because I am kind of short, but that's a little too low as far as reaching for the pedals. I do have a little bit more steering work to do on the tractor. I need to fix all the power steering, but you're gonna have to wait to see that in a new video. Thanks for watching.